again.
God
I'm
damn
done.
it!
Orca, no.
Forgot to record.
Oh my god.
Listen here, motherfucker. I should be tanky at the very least.
No.
This is the bottomest of bitches.
No.
I swear to God,
No.
she is. This is bullshit.
No.
I want the money though. Come on, come back to
Are
the
we?
top.
Oh my
Come on,
god.
come on,
No, are we
come
really
on.
doing this?
Yeah,
He'll
reread
add
it. Go ahead.
100 or coins.
You fucking better.
Yo, bro, just give me like.
Okay. Okay, Orca, are you ready? Are you ready?
Wait, before we start, I need to make sure we both get like the same amount, right? We're not splitting the reward. Okay, because I got an essay to write
Started.
and. Okay, let's go.
Orca, are you recording? Are you recording now?
Perchance.
Okay.
Fucking read.
The fight was stupid. All their fights are stupid. Instigated by pettiness and an unwillingness to compromise. This was just the latest of times it has gotten physical. Nazi, though he liked to talk
I'm
a
gonna
big
get a
game.
glass of water, BRB.
Oh my god! Did you just come back from getting a glass of water?
And had to
Keep
slurp that
reading,
shit
but
down,
slowly.
Okay? Yeah, read
Slowly?
less like a kindergarten teacher.
I'm not reading like a kindergarten teacher.
The fight was stupid. All their
Read
fights
it
are
with
stupid.
passion.
Reading
Yes.
or
With enthusiasm.
Oh my god. With enthusiasm?
The fight was stupid. All
Okay,
their fights
shut
were
up.
stupid.
I can do it.
Instigated by pettiness and
Shut
unwillingness
up!
to compromise.
The
That's
fight
how
was
you read it.
stupid. Shut up. The fight was stupid. All their fights are stupid. Instigated by pettiness and an unwillingness to compromise. This was just the latest of times that has gotten physical. Nazi, though he liked to talk a big game, was not quite as large as Tanky. It turns out that relying on natural genetic superiority was not the surest of best, especially when you use that as an excuse to skip the gym. So here he was, collatered against the kitchen wall over his inability to share milk or some shit. It was hard to recall how exactly it happened, especially with Tinky's large hands around his neck. They pressed Nazi hard into the wall, disabling with surprising strength. It was clear that Kami was not trying to grievously harm him, only make it clear that the fight was over. Nazi's face felt warm. From anger, of course. Nothing as degenerate as being dominated by another man, a communist no less, would ever make him feel any emotion other than anger. He looked tepidly at Tanky's stern expression and cleared his throat.
Are you done?
Tanky scowled. No, he answered firmly. You need to be taught a lesson. Nazi barked out a hoarse laugh and quirked an eyebrow.
What lesson? You're just gonna keep me here until what exactly?
Tanky didn't answer, just gave the fascist throat a thoughtful squeeze. His fingers burned like iron brands around the shorter's jugular, and Nazi began to feel lightheaded. Panicking, he hit at Tanky's arms, trying to get the larger man off of him, and struck at a leg to kick him away. The communist only responded by
I'm back from getting a glass of water.
Shoving a knee between the fascist's legs and pinning Nazi's hips to the wall with his own.
Fuck off, you degenerate Slavic scum!
Nazi hissed when Tanky relented. He was reeling from the feeling, head swimming, all his nerves on fire as every point of contact with Tanky felt electric. Kami considered. And this close, Nazi could feel his thrumming voice sending vibrations through his chest. That would not be wise of me. How do I know you will not shoot me as soon as I let go?
I would.
Nazi flushed from disgust, of course, and squirmed under Tanky's watchful gaze. Besides, the red bastard chuckled and shifted his knee upward, where Nazi realized that he was growing hard. It seemed that you were enjoying this.
That's
He swallowed.
a completely natural reaction to adrenaline. All that proves is my masculinity is intact.
Tanky laughed boisterously at that, moving one hand to clap Nazi on his shoulder. That may be true, comrade, but you are obviously incredibly perplexed. You are still living in 1930s while the rest of us have moved on long ago. You are a cocksucker. That is natural too, yeah? Tensed at the comment, his whole body heating up and coiling around his gut. Sure, maybe he had been grappling with some things, but he wasn't going to admit to having degenerate thoughts and getting kicked out of the only community who ever accepted him. But here, the extremists didn't care. All he really had to lose was pride. Nazi took a moment to let go of his dignity, then arched his back and dragged his claw quite obviously along the communist's solid thigh.
I
He spoke deliberately.
can assure you that I have never sucked a cock in my life.
Tanky looked thoughtful
LMAO.
for a moment, and trailed one hand to rest in the dip of Nazi's waist to firmly still his movements. I am sure we can change that, he drawled. This Nazi news was dangerous territory, and exactly what he wanted. He could give in to the temptation within him to submit, just to see what it was like. He wasn't a religious man. He had no fear of God and hell, preventing him from indulging. All that stood between him and what he wanted was presupposed truths about the natural order of things. Fuck it, he thought. I need no sympathy. With an arrogant grin plastered against his face, he looked Tanky in the eye.
You're gonna have to make me.
Like a flip of a switch, Tanky came down on him with confidence gained from decades of experience seizing what he wanted from Kulklaks, uninclined to hand it over. Nazi was overwhelmed initially, but he has never known this force from Kami without any concept of war. His reflex was fear, damage control. He pent with Kami so he wouldn't break, went pliant under his touch and unconsciously tried to slip away. As if sensing discomfort, Tanky pulled back for a moment. This is what you meant, yeah? Nazi scowled. Was he gonna have to say it? Well, he was about to assure his guilty conscience by pretending that he had no choice in the matter? Damn leftists and their morals. He grappled with the lapels of Tanky's jacket and refused to make eye contact.
Shut the fuck up and get on with it. Ruin me.
Tanky hummed. It became apparent that he got the gist of Nazi's needs when he heaved the smaller man up by his collar and punched all the breath out of him by slamming him back into the wall. Nazi's mouth hung open in shock, and in that moment, Tanky crowded in, choking him this time with that broad tongue snaking down his throat. Nazi groaned, eyes rolling back, and on instinct parted his legs to make room for the wide hips of the communist between them. A little too eager, he thought. No plausible deniability to be seen. Tanky kissed like he revolted, forceful, demanding, barely leaving him alive. The column of his neck ached where Tanky's hand had strangled him before. He gasped for air like a man drowning. When he was finally granted mercy, the communist bit at his lip, down his jaw, his neck, sucked more bruises into the molted mottled purple skin. Nazi, desperate for contact, squirmed helplessly against Tanky's own hardness. He didn't care about pride now, lost in a hazy headspace that only cared for pleasure. He was so close. He was so close. This feeling was unlike any others he had experienced in his life. And just as swiftly as the onslaught had begun, Tanky let go. Nazi collapsed on his knees, stunned by the impact. By the time he recovered, Tanky had fisted a hand of his hair and tugged Nazi's face to look up at him in the eye. It is time for fascist dogs to learn their place. Tanky spat. A shiver crawled up Nazi's spine. Here, finally, was the ruthless dominator that he craved so badly from the other man. With his free hand, Tanky pulled his cock out, stroking it in Nazi's face, who instinctively leaned away. Tanky yanked Nazi closer, growling. I have never known a Nazi who is good for anything other than sucking cock. Nazi's mouth began to water. Shit, was this really happening? He wasn't about to be called a fucking queer and shot in the back of the head. The communist dick was weighty and wide, and the fascist felt an overwhelming curiosity. His pride, though, always one for pride. Tanky waited for him to open up, but quickly realized that
I'm
he
playing a
wasn't
serious
just going
fucking
to
game of
blow
Golf Blitz RN.
An amused chuckle rumbled through his throat. A hand in Nazi's hair released his grip, and he whined, leaning into the touch as Tanky grabbed his palm to cut Nazi's cheek. Tanky pinched his nose shut. Then, when he was forced to open his mouth to breathe, Tanky shoved his mouth with cock inside.
Should have just died.
Nazi moaned around the intrusion, concentrated on breathing through his nose and letting his throat relax. He didn't get much time to adjust, however, as Tanky quickly started using that grip on his hair to move him back and forth. Nazi brought his hands up to brace himself on Tanky's hips. It seemed that with every thrust, there was just a bit more of that heavy shaft down his throat. If he concentrated, he could see the amount of dick that was currently inside of him. That was not inside of him, in fact, most of it. He groaned hot and wet, hips thrusting at thin air. A thick boot came down on his crotch, grinding the sole against his confined dick. Nazi's eyes rolled back in his fucking head, forgetting about sucking Tinky off until he heard a growl, and until the hand stirred in his hair, and his hair started up again much faster. Nazi allowed himself to be used basically as a fuckhole, weakly suckling on Tinky's cock. He instead directed his energy towards thrusting and rubbing against the boot. Where he was any other state of mind, he would have been humiliated. But right now was exactly what he craved. He was getting close again, all of his joints and muscles screaming for release, not caring that his crotch was soaked through, not caring that he was getting off in such degeneracy. His humping lost its rhythm, stuttering in place as he achieved climax, and his whole body seized up in pure euphoria. The waves of his orgasm crashed over him and kept coming, making it difficult to hold any thoughts in his head at all. Tanky, taking the opportunity to chase his own release, Bucknazi's mouth hardened. But he slammed a bit into too far too soon, and the sudden feeling of choking snapped Nazi out of his momentary bliss, and he blissed out his plight, and he bit down in his plight. Immediately, Tanky wrenched him away and slapped him hard round in the face. The heavy silence hung, and the moments that followed, broken only by the sounds of heavy breathing. Nazi's spit-soaked lips hung open as he drew a deep, shuddering breaths. Tanky looked down at him hesitantly. Too much? He asked. Nazi shook his head.
More.
In time, comrade. The larger man lowered to a squat in front of Nazi. He pulled Nazi forward to lay him down on the floor and set about undoing the fly of his soiled trousers. Kami tugged the garments down his leg and off of him and wrapped a large hand around Nazi's softened cock. He whined, canting his hips, and the Soviet licked a stripe up the messy appendage. He thought he might just die. Tinky's mouth was warm and wet, and despite already having it spent himself, he could feel his cock slowly but surely flooding again under the administrations. By the time Nazi's cock was clean, he had a full erection again, straining almost painfully upwards. Hanky hungrily drunk in the sight of Nazi's body spread out before him, flushed and needy and singing out to be touched. He reached up to the root around Ancom's juncture, and his hand clasped quickly around one of the many bottles of lube.
You sound like you're having some trouble there.
A little bit. Tanky wetted his fingers and began to massage Nazi's hole.
Bruh.
Nazi was sure that the other was saying something, but he lost all ability to concentrate on when Nazi slipped a broad finger inside and began to piston in and out. There was a light stretch to it, but that made Nazi curious, arching his back and rolling his hips to get more inside of him. The Tanky stood his movements. With his other hand, began to press down severely on his hip. The buildup was excruciating. Nazi waited through 2 fingers, then 3, and by that time he was positively dripping with need.
Bruh. Come on, Tanky, give it to me already.
Aye. You will not be in any of use to split in two. And wasn't that an image? He felt kind of lightheaded, and maybe the blood that should have been in his head, helping him make good decisions, was all in his dick, because he just started to whine. Read it.
God damn it. Stop arresting me to be daddy. I'm not going to break. Please. God, just stick it in.
Pinky stood for a moment. If that's what you want, then alright. Waiting the dozens or so seconds it took Tanky to slick up his cock and tug himself back to full her, this was possibly the worst of it all. Then he felt a blood pressure at his entrance, pushing it insistently. It took a couple of tries, but with enough force, it managed to breach the ring of muscle and slip inside.
Shove it to your forehead.
The stretch was immense and overwhelming on the price of pleasure and pain, and it made Nazi's eyes roll back and arch his back and back arch as his whole body seized up while it adjusted. Pinky eased himself in, slowly rocking back and forth while Nazi clenched and unclenched and clenched again, trying to get himself to relax, but Christ, if Tanky wasn't about the girth of a fucking Coke can and almost twice as long.
Bruh.
But eventually Nazi settled down enough to form coherent thoughts. Perhaps he used that coherency to ask for more dick, but the heart wants what it wants. Tanky was more happy to oblige, revealing in the little punched out mules and groans that rose above the rhythmic slapping of hips against Nazi's ass. The fascist, however, only craved more, reeling and cock drunk. He knew that he wouldn't last much longer. Neither would Tanky, considering the foreplay. Nazi clenched his fist to avoid going insane from constant sensation of that scalding heat rubbing against his prostate. The haze that had settled over his thought lifted just barely enough to recognize the feeling of hands once again around his throat. With barely a squeeze, Nazi was spurting what was left in his balls all over his stomach and chest. The communist above him groaned deeply at that. Stilling fully inside Nazi and draining his load deep within, Tanky took a moment to catch his breath, then removed himself. Nazi whined as the cum dribbled out of him, boneless, on the floor. He heard the rustle of fabric as Tanky tucked himself back into his trousers, then felt his own clothes being pulled back into place. The Soviet clapped him on the shoulder. There, maybe you will not be so filled with rage now that you have been filled with something else, he chuckled.
Fuck off, you faggot.
Nazi grumbled with a surprising lack of malice, and betrayed his own prickly facade. He drew himself up against the wall, letting his head droop to rest on his shoulder. He drifted into unconsciousness to the sound of the kitchen tap running.
This was some total bullshit.
Yeah, a little bit. Orca, are you happy? Can I have my money now?
The biggest problem is that you're a fucking bottom bitch.
I don't know what you mean.
I know what I mean, and I know you're a bottom bitch, and I just had to stand that It was terrible. You added words that weren't there and took away words that were. You read like a fucking kindergarten teacher who's on crack and meth at the same goddamn time and doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. And you laugh like the ugly ass bitch, fucking wicked witch of the west.
We're good. Are you done?
Prettier than you.
Hmm?
I said I know old hags that sound prettier than you.
I hope you kill yourself.
Told that to you.
Anyways, are we done? I'm gonna say we're done.
He hasn't spoken yet.
He has not, but I thought he was in the middle of an intense game.
He is in the middle of an intense game. Intensely laughing his fucking ass off at us.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Not to mention he's probably just either editing what was like, his amazing footage so he can post it every goddamn where. Probably taking a screenshot to put along so that everyone knows our accounts. God damn it, I will buy Nitro just so I can change my tag and everything and act like it wasn't me. I've gone all this time without wasting money on Discord. I will start today. It better not be one reward that gets split both ways. I better get most of it if we split it.
No, I read most of it. I deserve it.
You read most of it? What do you mean read? You mean grumbled?
I did not.
Grumbled, mumbled, and stuttered. You didn't read shit.
Well,
I don't know how many words were in this Google Doc, but you added more than you took away. And that's bad.
Oh, look at how many words are in here.
Not to mention, you started to sound like a goddamn robot towards the bad Wi-Fi connection. I see why you said you lived in McDonald's with your fucking shit-ass Wi-Fi.
There are 2,418 words.
Well, by the time we got done, there were 3,050. And that's not even talking about the 100 you took away from the original story and replaced with your own.
Hold on. Look in general.
I don't want to look in general. He's probably talking shit. Bend over. You know what? Someone that No, I need my money first before I call somebody.
I don't think Orca's gonna answer.
Orca, I want my Orc coins. Just put me through all kinds of shit. Give me my Orc coins.
No, you have to finish laughing.
Give them to me now. Kick the bitch from your server. I have 4 random words memorized.
What random words are those?
Peaches, red, blackjack, and oranges. Huh? I hear nothing. Your mic sucks ass.
I hope you kill yourself.
After this, I really might. My ears have never been more cursed with the sound of something other than your. It's I don't even know what to say. My IQ's dropping.
I did say in general, what did I say? I said like if you pay me 25 Orc coins, I'll say whatever.
25 Orc coins? You'll what?
And I'll say whatever you want.
Wait, so if I pay you 25 Orc coins, you'll say whatever I want?
Yeah, but because of you, it's gonna be like 1,000.
Why?
Only for you, it's 1,000. That was a long glass of water, Orca.
I'll tell you what to say later.
No, I say it now.
No, that's not part of your rules. Don't make shit up. You said to give 25 ore
What?
coins to make you say whatever whatever you want, right? Wait a minute. No! No! Orca, I swear to God, bro. Melody, I know what I want. I mean, no, fucking whatever the fuck your name is. Kay, I know what I want you to say.
What?
Say, Orca, please kick me from this server.
Orca, please kick CJ from this server.
No. I'm saying it from your point of view. Orca, please kick me, as in me, Kit Kat, from this server. Say it. You yellow belly buck tooth son of a bitch.
Orca, please kick CJ, me, from this server. Me, CJ, from this server.
Fuck it, kick us both. Do it.
Orca, did you? Hold on.